this morning, right? This AM day. It's not more reason to be sad. We're still here. We're alive on this rock. So got to stand up and speak up, not be quiet and be silent. So don't hide that light. You are the light. You're the horizo. You're the separator. You're the divider. Thank you, Father, for Shiloh, for the Redeemer. Thank you for all things. Got the puppies here with me. Thank you for good puppies. Thank you for good companionship from animals there. They don't lie, cheat, or steal from you. Better than most humans in some case, huh? Got my puppies here right next to me. So go on. I'm trying to climb over there. So one's gonna go one way, one's gonna go the other. So, I'm here to use my right, my First Amendment right to redress grievances, you know. This money changer nation, apostate, abomination remember it was an abomination. And we got the thump, then we got the pedo, and then, well, pedo thump, and then pedo Joe, and then pedo thump again. So, a bunch of files in a pod. You're a good boy. He's my good dog. He's my good boy. The Sunday, most people worship the lunar calendar, the moon. They're lunatics. Lunar and sun pretty much go hand in hand. Remember, they said they went on a chicken rocket, or a rocket to the moon on the lunar, landed on the lunar lander on the lunar surface. They're lunatics and their lunar calendar. So everything is an abomination. The whole world's celebrating this 2025 ritual, which is not 2025, and they think that they live on a planet. So, oh, that's crazy. They're spending money on the skate park. Can't believe that. That's good. You mean they're not stealing all the money and extorting it? That's crazy. That's all this county does, is extorts money and steals it from the people. So, isn't that ironic? But no, hey, probably we coming over. What is we coming over? So, but this abomination corporation, you know, what's going on with this nation of people that just shut up, and the whole world that likes to shut up about all the corruption and apostasies that continue to go on. It just goes unchecked. You know, you can't admit that you got a problem, then you can't fix it. You know, that's the first stage of alcoholism denial. So, you know, nope, don't want to fix nothing because you can't admit that you have a problem. That's why we have a crumbling infrastructure, and the whole nation is in a apostasy with bonds and treasuries and all this garbage debt. Zombie. It's a zombie America. Oh yeah. Good. So, Yeah, this county is so corrupt that I live in. The law enforcement and the officials, the public officials, that we don't even have a 911. But cool, kids got a skate park. So that's all right. I'm going to knock all these people down from the top down, from the judges all the way down, with the civil lawsuits, place criminal culpability and liability on them. So that's why Father sent me here. Try to wreck me, try to come in here and kill me, but I'm still here. So they're going to have their chance here very soon to drop this case. I'm still going to file the civil lawsuits anyway. So my right to redress grievances against a nation that I'm a veteran and I serve this country, and they treat veterans like garbage. They treat the people like garbage, and they send money to Israel. That's bullshit right there. I hate this country so much, what it's become. Crumbling infrastructure, the most debted nation, corporation. It's not a nation, it's a corporation. It's not even a nation state. It's not a constitutional republic, so it's the money changers. We forced everybody for 50 plus years, forced us like our mafia behavior. It's going to go down 100,000 years from now, what we did, and people are going to not, they got away with it now, but you're not going to get away with it come the seventh shofar, the ram's horn, when judgments come upon us all. You're not going to be able to, if you were silent about it, there'll be a price to pay. He pours out a just measure on all of us. So anybody who thinks they get away with something in this lifetime is not going to escape the judgments of the book of judgments is what it is. Everybody passes through that book. I don't care what their belief is. I don't care what their spiritual thought is. Belief is an action word. It's not a thought in your head. So you can't believe in a God. You can't believe in, anything. It's a verb. It's an action word. So you got to put legs. Faith is a noun, but you got to put legs on faith. So people don't know what the word believe is, and they think they believe in something when it's a big apostasy, And this corporation is nothing but they sell the slave nation, bond treasury, the debt of the labor. It's a slave nation corporation, indebted by $37+ trillion. That's not even including the unfunded liabilities like, student loans. That's our biggest asset, is our debt. That's the biggest bunch of crock of crap I've ever heard. So, and people love it. So, but I have the right to speak up. So I didn't get up on the wrong side of the bed. This is what's going on. You don't like it, go somewhere else and keep doing what everybody else does. Just shut up, go along to get along. The silent majority is what you go down as. The silent. Let them shut you up. I only have a First Amendment left, right? Until they take that from me, I'm going to have to use it. So I need to point out, if you're supposed to be upholding the law, why are you breaking the law? So the difference between lawful and legal, there's none of that going on. There's no judicial law being conducted in this corporation. These are all crimes of commerce, operated under the chief of finance, the district criminal, what's going on there? All right. Yeah, there's never been a nation like this that's been able to, this is the strangulation nation. Like a boa constrictor, they just constrict everybody with debt. Central banksters, it's a bunch of banksters running there's no government. They're just puppets. It's the banks that are running this. The central banks. You give a man a gun, he'll rob a bank. You give a man a bank and he'll rob the world. And that's right where we're at. No begging. I don't want to see eyes. I don't want to see your eyes. I'm eating. Go. All done. Keep going. Go on. Keep going. Tango, no beg. I'm eating some turkey sausage. I don't eat too much turkey, but. So, if you will go 1,000 years from now, they'll write about this nation that strangled everybody with debt, went around dropping freedom and democracy bombs on everybody, enslaving them with central banks, robbing their resources and inflating their currencies, not money, currency. They did it with their inflation creation machine, debt. They did it with debt. Enslaved a nation, corporation. Not America, it's Americant. No, I Americant, you America. And I have the right to redress grievances. I have the right to speak up. You don't speak about something, it ain't going to get fixed. So, just again, I'm not the silent majority. These are better when they're a little burnt. So, I just look forward in this, future tense, Can you do that? Can you game theory, something in live as you're doing, kind of it's not a game, but, situational awareness. Situation dictates. I'm a veteran, so I think on my feet. Can't think, you'll die in war. It's war. This is war. So I came and brought 20 plus men with guns, armored vehicles, tried to kill me. You want me to just shut the fuck up? I don't think so. Homie, don't play that. This ain't In Living Color. This ain't some movie to me. This is a reality, I got a missing son and daughter and nobody's still going like that. So it'll go down in history. So I'm all right. Father's doing it all. I'm not anxious or anything. Just not going to go down as the silent majority. One of those that just shut up about what was going on. It's going on. It's happening. Shit has hit the fan. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. Get out of here. And yet we're still here, talking on the web, on the internet, all caught up on this Starlink, or interweb. Are you cabled through the sea, or are you in the sky daddy? Got a sky daddy god? Elon Musk or Mr. Iron Man or Jesus Christ, birth in the middle of winter? Is that your sky daddy god? Satan, Apollyon, Jesus with boobs, breast, the Christ, Baphomet, Bel. These people are idiots. They think it's 2025. I live in a whole world full of idiots. It's like I'm the only one. No, I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. So, Islam versus Islam the Quran was written by Catholics. Don't come in here and be some kind of idiot and act like you know something. Serious, I'll set you straight. Hebrew words, frowords. Don't be coming here trying to grab it. I'm not under an old law testament, touch your kids, marry kids. No, this ain't old law. We're under this new covenant. So don't Oh, wait, it was just a question. Oh, my bad. I don't like the UFC anymore. They went all woke. Trump's always there at the, I don't like it anymore. And I love that. I grew up on the concrete jungle, wrestling on the streets, fighting on the streets. So, not trying to curb stomp somebody into the side of that 90, but, you know, a sport, real sport. Like a man we used to go take it out to the football field for after 6 months or something on the playground or whatever and beat the snot out of each other. And we were friends after that. But we weren't trying to kill each other. Punch through all that, that's what I liked about but Dana, he just went straight woke. So too much political, too much. It was good for a while. I was talked about it and I opened up my mouth. I shouldn't have said anything. So, I mean, you can still watch it, moderate. Just why are they getting all political like that? They're going to have it at the White House lawn. But there's some good professional fighters, and they're professionals, and I don't think they're overly wealthy, and I don't think they're going to go to hell, where most of it's just a big game card. NFL rigged. It's all in occult rituals. People died by number because of the NFL. Okay, it's a tax-exempt corporation. The Giants, the Anunnaki of the day, not Skywalker, the Giants. They were giants, but chasing each other around in tights and rainbow-flavored numbered jerseys, whatever. People kill each other over dudes chasing a low-energy swine skin. Welcome to the degradation of society. We're so advanced that we can't even build these megalithic structures because the technology is being held by Donald Trump, the guy that dropped 3 steel buildings with 2 airplanes. Now that don't math with me. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Hi, buddy. Are you getting ants in your pants? Are you getting ants in your pants or pants? Heard your pants. He's with the dad. Oh, he's my big guy. He's my big guy. He's my big guys. I got my big guys. All right, would you get off of me? You're so big. You're going to knock down the live stream. You're going to knock down the live stream. Would you please stop? You're so big. Why are you so big? Oh, you like that, huh? All right, would you get out of the way? I'm live streaming. Over here. Over here. Thank you. You're so big. You're the biggest guy I ever did have. You're my biggest guy. I love this guy. He's never lied, cheated, or stole from me. Nothing. He treats me better than all the human beings on the world. And the whole wide world. This 13 years old puppy. Happens and you feed him good. Look at that shiny coat. Coat on that boy. You're such a good boy. Biggest. Big. Are you keeping yourself all cleaned up? Had the diamond lemon rice. Yeah, and they gassed my dog, so fuck the police. 5 tear gas canisters in here. So, anyways, none of these men to take their pistol belts off and even step into a match or anything. Bunch of sissies with badges hiding behind guns. Shot my son. What a bunch of idiots. So, anyways, I'll get over it. Jimmy crack corn, right? Father's in control. So, I'm gonna go eat some more of that sausage on it. Watch it there, buddy. You guys need to go outside for a little bit. It's nice out there, maybe. Still cold. Just gonna get up here with you. I'm gonna have to get up here if you are working on that wall. Build the wall. Tear down the wall, Mr. Gorbachev. All right, so I want to be a day there. We're there for when they tear down the wall that Trump never built. The greatest wall ever, remember? So, how do you feel about this corporation nation? Enslaved nation? Mafia nation? Who was Islam fighting there? Are you still in here? Wheels? Water Wheels? Is Wheels still in there? You said Jay. Was it Dupree or something like that? Something like that? Is that the nickname for him, or what? Not Nick, the acronym? No. Yeah, maybe Dupree or something like that. Oh, sciatica. Damn. I apologize. Got more block to do. I better get out there pretty soon and get at it. What are you building? What are you doing? Men build shit, right? What are you doing? Are there any men in here? Probably not. Not in America. There ain't no men. No men left in America. They're a bunch of sissies. We're going to go down in history. They let their women be drafted. Didn't say anything about it. Shut up. The silent majority. As I said. Well, what an abomination. What a bunch of bomb man nation. Aren't they? The American men or the American? Imagine what it's like to be a woman in America right now. Imagine what it's like to be outside the borders of America. You have to be enslaved by these freedom bombs and democracy bombs if you don't pay for oil with the US dollar. No other nation has a money printing, inflation creation machine, so they don't get to do that. America just get print more debt. And the others can't even keep up because they don't have any inflation creation machines. I mean, money printers. So, how's that okay? Why are you all right with that? I'm not. That's why I'm making a blog. I've got 6 channels on this platform, so I'm not going to shut up. I say my first rodeo. Act like the first time I've been on here is the first time I've gone live. Get out of here. See? I don't need you in here. I'm trying to gain numbers. I ain't trying to be famous. Infamous. There's a difference. Infamous happens after you die, remember? You're supposed to die daily. To flesh, to self. Die to flesh daily. Who shall ever come after me, let them deny themselves daily. We're going from hot to cold. It's supposed to get hot here in Oregon and Washington over the next couple days here. So, few days. What's your plan? What's your plan for the future? There's children that have to live on this rock. They're going to be here after we die. Says the adults, what are we doing for the children? Let's not give them over to Catholics. You know what they do there. You know, Muhammad, we know what they do. So Mr. Warp Speed, we know what he does, right? Joe and Billary and all the gang, right? So, gang of thugs, government gang, they all wear the same color of law, right? Govern, mind control. I love it. You guys are what is called the silent majority. So, well, so far it's chilly out here in the desert so far. Been super chilly, Billy. It's hitting the 30s, man. I'm not ready for this. I'm not ready for this. I got no firewood. I don't think I could do a winter, but I'll have to do it anyways. And I've been Arctic trained and lived in Alaska, and so I can do it just mentally. It's like, it's here in the dog days of summer, baby. Imagine that. I was out there going, man, I got birds out there, and their water freeze up. So I got to start getting my fourth point of contact and gear and figure something out. So. There he goes, bringing good stuff. My dad always told me when I was younger, he's like, they're going to teach you how to make money in school, son. You better get passing grades. You should have never said passing. You should have said good, but he said, but I'll teach you how to make money, and it's not all about making money. It's the skill set. They teach people to be good worker bees, sting them, with the spelling bee. Started spelling curses, in cursive. They did it to us. How many thousands of hours of programming did we go through? Tell I vision, tell us lies to our vision. They rolled a little card out. We went up there to the moon. All the people blew up in the lander and all that, or in the space shuttle. They're all alive. It was all alive. Everything I ever learned in school was alive, pretty much. Math was okay. Language, but most of it was garbage. Had to unlearn and relearn. So, yeah, like accountability, not budgeting, but absolutely, But it is what it is. Where we are. These children have to walk this rock. My dad, and I know his dad, wanted a better rock that, the children have a better place to live. Where's that gone? Nobody cares. There was like, have it now, J.G. Wentworth, the microwave generation. It's 90 seconds and I want it now. And then they're gone, lost in space somewhere else. They become opaque, if you will. You could see them through like Ghostbusters. Syria bust their balls. They think, well, there's gods in the sky, balls in the sky. We landed on the moon, where they live on a planet. They think it's 2025. Where the hell do you get that from? Because you're a lunatic. You're probably one of these idiot religious nonsense people who don't love the word. You're not in love with the word. You're not married to it. You're not yoked to it. You're not supped to it. You're supped to some other gospel. He said, don't add a jot. I've done it, been there, guilty, been a Nephilim, been a bully, been a demon. The demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. See, there's no such thing as Ghostbusters. Ghost is Hokadesh. Holy Ghost, Holy Spirit. That's word spirit. Is it foreign to you? The dialect, glossa, alien? Alien's not anything that exists in a flesh or space, or it's a word. Alien's a word. They think there's aliens. They believe in Bigfoot. And there's no such thing as, well, did Chewbacca have Wookiee with an Ewok and now we got big feet? Where's it say that in Scripture? You know, no planets. You don't live on a planet. Earth's not below your feet, and hell, that's not a place. And hell's not below your feet either. Where do you get all these fallacies? Too many fallacies. What's the reality? People got sheep paralysis is what they got. Sleeping, you know, going with the herd. The majority, like I said. I'm not wrong. It is in 2025. You're a lunatic. Don't worry, the whole world's with you on your side. When the whole world's running off a cliff and you're the only one going in the other direction, they call you batshit crazy, brothers, sisters. I guarantee you that. They scoffed at Noah for decades. You know, decades, they called that, 126 years, they called the old man crazy, building an ark and never even rained. The hell are you doing building a boat? You know? Some people, there's a voice inside our head. That's called the Holkadesh, Holy Ghost, Spirit, not demon. Demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. They used to pray to their deities, little g gods, demons. They could communion with their, remember, open the portholes or whatever, communicate. Whatever. We just threw the portholes in there, might as well. But they love their portholes, their worship. Remember, they had their orgy, and they love to stuff and puff and drink and suck and pump and dump. You know, it was a ritual called the Masse, MSSE. That's cannibalism, the eating of human flesh. Jesus Christ. Hope you don't do that either. Do that religious Jesus Christ nonsense. There's no J's in Hebrew, and he was the Hamashiach, and that's the Masse of Christos, Christ, or Mask. That's Satan, the sun god Apollyon. See, you worship Satan, you're a lunatic, and if you believe like in Bigfoot or Jesus, then there's no Jesus and there's no Bigfoot. You're an idiot. You just don't know the word. You are in love with some alien dialect. Seriously, you're in love with it. Love is agape. It's who you love. That means to walk and follow. It's who's your master. He says you can't serve two. Remember, Luke, I am your father. When it says in the Old Testament, honor thy father, that's not your dad. If he's a Jezebel and he thinks it's 2025, depart from him. Well, show him to the narrow way. Tell him he's a lunatic and tell mom's a lunatic. Just tell everybody you know. Be like Alpha Beta and tell a friend. You ever know that grocery store, where you put up your stores, treasure? Well, that's food. Food was tithing. Tithing was food, not money. Not the kind that folds or jingles, like the kind that grows in the ground. And there was a calendar above your head. The firmament, people think heaven's above their head. What the you talking about? Heavens are the ruling class. Remember masters? Who's your master? Who do you love? You can't serve two. It's these two eyes that'll steal your right there hanging on that cross, right? Nobody hung on crosses. Christ didn't carry a cross. Nobody hung from cross. That cross is the unk. That's pagan. See, you're a pagan. You're a lunatic. Remember? It's not my fault. Father created more people. Most people go to hell because hell's not a place. If you want to say go to, but hell is the word bis, knowledge. No knowledge is abyss. Revelation 9:11, they have a king over them, a messenger. Messenger is the word angel. Angels aren't winged things that come from the sky and fall out of the sky and never come from above your head. Fallen doesn't mean from the sky. You're an idiot. It means fallen from heaven, and heaven is not above your head. You're an idiot. Heaven's the ruling class. Earth is the rule. Hell's not below your feet. It's not 2025. Are you telling me one of these people think we go to this ball, the light in the sky, the moon? Are you a lunatic? Oh, the sun god, the light, went to the moon. Oh, yes. What does it Scripture say? See, you fall in love with this world and you say these worldly things, and that's okay. I don't care what you think. Jimmy Crackhorn, you can't serve two masters. Your master's dead to me. I'm supposed to die daily to self. That's the Greek word is porneia. Porneia is self-will, believing my own lies, idolatry. Demonic or demon is distributing lies or fortunes to others, and idolatry is distributing fortunes or lies to self. See, it's not complicated, but people like to add. That's froward. That's the Hebrew word froward. I study every word that comes out of my face because I've made mistakes and have unlearned and relearned. I didn't come to this bis understanding knowledge tree of life, if you will, by just sitting around and, I studied both sides of the fence. I didn't ride it. I had to see, shut up, loser. The left outside is hard to fight. This guy writes the history. You think history is written in a book? Nothing was written in a book. That's called Bible. That's book, right? A Bible. It was written on scrolls and tablets and stone. Remember, there was. Let's not go there. You should just stick to the gospel is all you should do for now. Don't worry about any of these other books. So, Froward, forward. To add, twist, change, warp, speed, or Godspeed. Pervert is what it is. He's perverted. But the devil, Demonian, distributor of fortunes, relies the bringer of disease and the cure of disease. Apollyon, the sun god, the one who lived in a 58-story Manhattan tower. Babylonian tower. He did that on purpose. All right, I did. He didn't live in Manhattan, lived in Babylon. It was 58 stories. His name was Mithra. You believe in all these myths and fairy tales. Fairy is a Celtic demon. A genie is an Arab demon, and a demon is a distributor of fortunes or lies. So you don't even know what you're saying. You say these other words. You think they mean like Ghostbusters, you know? That's the word Holkadesh. Holkadesh, Ruach Holkadesh is Holy Ghost. Holy Spirit. Remember, he cast the unclean spirits. The man said he was legion. These people are all legion. There are many lies, and I'm here to cast them out. That doesn't get me in the grace. Oh, I did great works, and I cast out demons in your name. You know, he's going to say, depart from me. I never knew you, you worker of iniquity. So I've done iniquity too, but we all have. That's why he rebukes our hearts. We walk in repentance, and then we're forgiven. Not asking you, that's not forgiveness. That's bis, knowledge. Ask for the bis, the understanding. So you have to sup with, not just the word, but study it. Left out, loser is hard to find that side of this history. There's a writer and the loser. Remember, left and right. Reality is somewhere between the lines. It's not somewhere this guy's writing what you think is history in a book, and you've been left out because you didn't find out what this person said, and neither of them's right. There's a reality. You got to be able to distinguish the forest from the trees when you're looking at biblical, scriptural, and historical record. But you think it's just one, and it's not. There's cultures, customs, slang. Most people don't even speak English. They speak American. Nobody speaks English in America anymore. They speak American. It's slang. It's watered down. It's flipping sick. I know. Hold on. I'll go get the Catholic priest. We'll sprinkle some holy water on him. He's got a demon. That's right. They're translating. And we need to sit down and slow down and study one word at a time. Be a good steward of the word. Be a good steward of your time, and, be a good steward of this temple. Use it wisely. Put him at the light at the top of your house and let it shine, and let him speak for you. That's what you do. You worry what you shall say, I will give you the answer. It tells us that in the book of Luke. And are you not in this synagogue, this dark place, this without counsel, So well, I don't mean to be like that, Sabrina, but am I wrong? People don't. I had to say yes to my dad. I couldn't say yeah. I didn't have to say sir. My dad was very militant, but I had to say yes. And he's like, I don't hear your head bobbing over there. I mean, he had to hear a yes, so he knew I understood what he was saying. So he didn't make me say yes, sir, but I couldn't say yeah. He would smack the piss out of me for saying yeah, Maybe give me one chance, but if I said it again, then there was no second chances. Remember, I didn't grow up with the second chance generation. You didn't get a no thank you bye. You ate your food. You didn't think you got a second chance. It was the only one you ate it for breakfast, for lunch, or whatever you didn't eat. There was no, it was one time, and then you got corporal punishment. And you did. I'm not into, like I said, I don't think physical discipline is necessarily appropriate. I didn't have to use it really with my son, and not nearly at all with my daughter either. They were both good kids. So there's just a lot of different ways to discipline, but I needed the piss beat out of me a little, and because I was not a good kid, and I didn't do anything but what I wanted to do. I could get good grades, and I did whatever I wanted, but stay out of trouble. I stayed out of trouble. So long as I stayed out of trouble and got passing, not good grades, um, my dad wouldn't beat me. So, and he never beat me. He just uh, he gave me corporal punishment because I needed it. I didn't want to mind. I wanted to do what I wanted to do all the time. So I've been doing it since I was young. I'm in a whole different mindset than most people. I know that, but I don't care. I'm not here to appease the world. The world can kiss my ass. I'm not here to make friends with this world. That's probably why I live alone and do what I do. So um, it's okay. I'm not. I love the word. I told you I'm in love with the word. The word is what I desire. It's my pleasure. It's my pain. It's my everything. It's what keeps me and gets me up out of bed every day. Otherwise, I wouldn't be here. I think it's what protects me. It's the armor, is Ephesians 6:11 that Paul tells us to put on. So he puts it on for us if we seek, right? No, he said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So he makes us do it. So don't take the credit for it. I ain't doing this. So that's why I don't care what the world thinks. The world, once again, is not my pleasure. It's the word that's my pleasure. It's after this life that I desire. I desire death and I desire it daily. And I do that because he tells me to do that. Cut off this flesh, circumcise it. Paul told us. Matthew said, deny self daily. So that self is this world. That's this Jezebel spirit that makes you want to give in to this meat suit that you're hanging in right here that's holding you up. It's, anchored should be faith, not the meat, but it does it to me. I falter. The flesh is weak. I drag it around like an army rucksack. But get her done. It's only a lifetime, right? Like Roger Waters said, it'll be done before you know it, and then you'll move on with your eternal self. So just make sure it's his, not your own will. Oh, I got Nigel out there crowing. He was crowing at about 3 something this morning. I was like, yeah, get it. So, anyways, I don't know if 3 is the. He likes to crow throughout the day. He don't do it too much. He's not overly. Sometimes he just does it if there's something in the area. He won't do his squawk. He'll do a rooster crow. So he's a good chicken boy, pecker, cock. He's an actual, I don't know if you can hear him out there, but anyways, I'm redressing some grievances. I want to be able to go down in history knowing that I didn't shut up about this abomination corporation that's enslaved nations by the debt, slavery under the U.S. Treasury and bond, making people pay for these supposed safest assets by the U.S. labor, the straw man, the tin man, the labor slave. And so I hate this country so much that it takes and it uses the debt of the nation and funds war with it and has 1,000 military bases in 180 countries. I hate the fact that nobody cares that they're going to draft our women, and we're one more country away probably from going to war with another country if we don't pull out of these wars like Mr. Warp Speed was going to pull out in 48 hours. Instead, you got the 48-hour perfect fit, mNRA jab for you, or whatever, the smart jab, the Android jab, the Apple jab, whatever you want to call it, $500 billion jab. How about that? $1 million come back every day. Why? How about this? If I just stack dollars end on end, I could go back to the moon and twice. That's how much money it would take dollars. Do the math on that. That's some spending right there. 48 hours, they already spent it. Doesn't matter. It's already done. And now we're sending more money to Israel. We just sent another $1 billion to Ukraine. We got dying people on the streets of this country. So there's nothing good about America. Don't fool yourself. You want to stay here? That's fine. I'm trying to get out of here as soon as I can. And it doesn't mean that, I hate the people here. I don't hate the sinner. I hate the sin that they commit. I hate the sin that this nation commits, this abomination corporation. You know what I'm saying? I won't have it. Quick version. How do we own stuff without worshiping our positions? Is it possible? Own stuff? Well, you can own things, but you have to have a roof over your head and you have to have an automobile, but how are you doing it? Like, I live out in the middle of the country. I grow food. I build my own buildings. I live where I have space to grow, not live in a little tiny lot with a big old house next to my neighbor where I can't have the rooster crow, you know, without them calling the code and the HOA and all. That's if that's what people want, you know. But we own, you know, you don't in America. You don't own the land. You have to ask permission when you own it to go build on it. I hate this country. That's the You think the founding writers of the Constitution ever imagined that you'd have to go pay and ask permission to build on land that you own? No, you don't, because now they have it taxed. This corporation sucks, and anybody who just doesn't speak up about it sucks with them. High intent, whatever you want to call it, like a vampire. They're sucking the life out of the country, and they don't care. And I do. I American, they American. So I'm going to speak up about it, and I'm not going to be one of these people. It's a good question. Give it to the church. The church can't be taken taxed. They can't take it from the church. You personally, your body's a temple. So what do you need to own? I'm the wrong person to ask that. Okay. Because I don't want to own anything. So maybe, David, I'm not the right person to ask. Maybe you should ask somebody else that question. I might be a little bit biased. I like to be honest rather than biased within, you know, I will be honest with you no matter what, but I may be a little bit biased because I don't want to own anything anymore. I've had, you know, a kid, a wife, an old land, and, you know, and all the things any man could ever want. So um, I feel like I've lived 10 lifetimes already just in this one body, but, and I'm not wealthy or like that or anything. I have family that's all, you know, famous. And my dad was an actor, and my grandmother was an actress, and aunt, and all that nonsense. But I don't chase none of that. I like living in the dirt, living in the desert, and building up from scratch. So I'm a minimalist. Again, that's why maybe not to be the best person to ask. All I wanted to do when my son turned 18 was put on a backpack and let the wind blow me, you know, like to the left or right, whatever way it was. So yeah, I'm single. I don't. I've been single for many years. I like being single. That way, I don't interrupt somebody else's life by me going. Because I'm a pastor and I I have tattoos, and people like to talk about my tattoos because they look like, you know, I just draw. I don't. Everywhere I go, I tend to just share the word. I always have. I'm not going to go into public without taking the opportunity to, nor me, if I have a chance to at least make conversation with somebody. Even though, like the society I live in, I don't just shut down and turn into a hermit. You know, I do try to interact when I do, you know, have my, look, I'm here on social media, you know, talking to the whole world, you know, sharing the ministry to north, east, west, and south, sharing the news. So sharing the glory, the king is nigh. And, you know, so we need to speak up. He said, do not hide that light in a basket, and he will get you, he'll tell you what to say. That's in Luke. So study these books and um, study the scripture one word at a time, and he draws you to do these things. He said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So, yeah, my treasure is Father. My treasure is Shiloh. My treasure waits. My treasure's not here. There's nothing here for me. I love you, brothers and sisters, but I'd have to meet you there, just like I told my son when he was like 8, 9, and 10 years old. I'm just your dad, man. I ain't your father. Your father's going to be the one there with Shiloh judging you. So you got to get this right. If not, you're going to be tearing him down from that tree he hung from, be facing Father, where the wages of one sin is death, and none of us are worthy of that. We're all going to make mistakes. So you need to get right spiritually. I ain't going to be there for you. And so I'll have to meet you on the other end of this flesh. So that's why I'm willing to commit to self death, and I die daily to this flesh and commit to God. And He rebirths me every day. I'm born from above, not again, every day. There's no such thing as being born again. It's called born from above. Because again is once, like you bought it. It's a purchase. He bought you, his bride, and he is the bridegroom, and he's going to come back and pick up his purchased possession. And as a bride tarries, here we are. Nobody knows the day or the hour. So we're supposed to be ready. And your treasure, you're supposed to be running to him, girded in his service. He said, have your loins. So when he returns, you're supposed to be running to him. He's not going to come to you. This ain't no meet me. He said, have your loins girded in my service, right? Maranatha. believing in me. Believe is an action word. We put legs on faith. These people are lost in some other gospel. That's why I love the gospel so much. It's forgiving. No, there's no such thing as water baptism, David. That's a halakha ritual by the Pharisees that perverted. There's, by definition, the word baptizo or baptism or bapto is by, remember, Noah was told to baptize the ark with the red pitch so it would not sink inside and out, remember? And it hadn't even rained. They scoffed at him, so people aren't going to, but the word bapto is, again, or bapto is to be covered with the red pitch stain, blood, or dye, and we're supposed to be baptized in blood. So there is no water. That Christ did that so they would hang him from a tree, and went by all their rituals, so they'd have to listen to him. Christ was brilliant. Christ was brilliant. He knew exactly what they would do so he could fulfill that covenant. See, like you had to go hang a piece of contract, a bride piece of paper, nail it top and bottom, stake it, right, to a stalk or to a well, in this case, a stalk or a yoke would be something you carry. A stalk or a tree, you would stake it to a tree and have two witnesses declare that bride of marriage, bill of marriage, contract in the book of Deuteronomy. And Christ hung his flesh to fulfill that. And he had to go through that water ritual to fulfill, so they'd listen to him. The Pharisees hated him. Don't you understand? They killed him. They didn't love him. It was the Pharisee. It wasn't Pilate that killed, Pontius Pilate. It was the one who crucified him, was the church, the Pharisees. And these people hang out, and he said he doesn't dwell in temples made by hands twice, and he's going to return. And they were hanging out in those same synagogues of Satan, like they are today. There's not one good church on this anywhere in the world. Not one good church. Like there's not one good cop in America. Not one good government official, because they don't return this to the Constitutional Republic. The money's not in gold and silver. They're not sharing the gospel. The only place I know that you can find the word is here in Grace and Truth Ministries. And I don't consider myself special in any way. I didn't ask for this. I just love the word. I have to share it. That's part of being a disciple. As a watcher, I have to blow the horn loud enough, long enough, and early enough so that you hear it. I can't blow it and then it's already be happening. How the hell are you going to do anything or get out of the way if the event's already hit the fan? Do you understand? I have to sound this early enough so you can, react, and you'll use the word to be your guide, the light to be your conscience. It will lead you. It will be your moral compass. He is the light, right? The life, the light, the horizo, the separator of the life, the light, the day, the light, the truth from the dark, the flesh from above. We're supposed to be born from above, not from the flesh. We're born of this flesh. That's why we die to flesh daily and be born from above every day. Take up your cross. Be crucified by the world, because they don't love this. So they want this halakha ritual. They want this Agape. They want this corporation. They want this abomination, United Nations, NATO, all this governance. Father hates over governing and overfeeing people. You understand? Well, then, David, slow down. It's okay. Check it out. It's all right. That's good. You're getting the Charlie Brown. I love it. I got it forever, David. I could read a little bit, and I call it the Charlie Brown. Stick with me for a minute, David. You pick up the phone, and it's Charlie Brown. He's like, well, want, want. You get the want going. The Father's not letting it in. Hallelujah. Thank you for giving the deaf ear, because you need to hear the right aletheia truth. So go see Jim Brown here on YouTube, Grace and Truth Ministries. Get yourself an interlinear Textus Receptus. There's only one version of Scripture you could be studying. Everything else is garbage, rubbish. Throw it away. Don't burn it. Put it in a library. Actually, archive it for later. You might go back and study it. You should start a library. For other people, thousands of years might find it. Put it in some big case and try to bury it. Maybe they'll pick it up and be like, whoa, look at this crap they were studying. Oh, look at this bunch of halakha garbage. There was the one canonized version of the text that in the 12th century they pulled out every word and defined it. He said, I am the aletheia truth. So if you want the truth, you need to study one word at a time to know what you're saying, David. As we were speaking earlier, most people speak in translation. That means they've literally changed the jots, the tittles, a letter, or like a yod, or the definition. And a transliteration means there's no literal change to the text definition by letter or by definition. That is a transliteration, and that's what they did in the 12th century. So you want to go study over at Grace and Truth Ministries, and Jim Brown will help you to unlearn and relearn one word at a time so it'll start going in. Yeah, we really care, Watchman. Your name is so flippin' stupid. You're the abomination that the word talks about. He words about idolatry and imagery. You're not watching. You're an idiot. You're blind. You have a veil over your eyes. It's called toxon, a bow, a thin veil. You're an idiot. You know that? You're worried about your eyes. You could be hearing something, but you want to worry about what you see. So thanks for coming in and just blabbing your mouth. Some people say it a potato. I don't have 5G. That's a weapon. Anyways, you idiot. Doesn't have anything to do with internet. Nothing. Two cheeks to the same hole. Get them out of here. Start flapping them and run. Yeah, this one and that one. Take your talking out the left side of your neck or the right. You don't know what you're talking about, child. You're all worried about what you see. He warned about idolatry, imagery, little things of the dirt that you see, and big things of imagery. The same things. And there you go, speaking up about what you see. And you call yourself a watchman? Watch Marley? You're an idiot. Get out of here, child. Go away. I don't even want your deaf ears to hear what I'm saying. There we go. Look, guys wouldn't know the difference between passion and anger. Go lick the boot of this government. Okay, you American. Are you an American? You live in America. You know they're going to draft the women of America. Speak up about that and say something. I'll give you one more chance to produce fruit. And there's no such thing as luck or chance. Not 2025. And hell, it's not in the sky or below your head. So let's see if you have any BIS knowledge what you're talking about. Go ahead, you're on the clock. Doom, 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 doom. It's a little more fruity for you. There are toucans, Sam. Follow your nose, little Skittles. You know, rainbow, taste the rainbow. You want a bunch of guys in tights. Make a bet on that. Chance, luck. A low energy swine skin. You know, the giants of the day, the Anunnaki, not Skywalker there. Do-do, ba-do, bo, bo. Would you want me to phrase it in the form of a question? I lost on Jeopardy. What an idiot. Speak up. Slow to type. So there we go. Goodbye. They couldn't say anything. They said, no way. No, he said, I am the way. That is the word Hados. And he had no words coming out of his face but abomination, corporation, American. What are you? A bumbling idiot? Freedom. Da-dum, dum, dum. There's no such thing as freedom. Will? Free? No free will. No such thing as luck. No such thing as chance. Father created all things. All blessings. Somebody just gave a cash app. That towards the we will put that towards the ministry that we're trying to purchase. If you've been following the ministries, please stay with us. We'll put this towards the ministry in Ecuador. You guys, it's going to happen. We're going to get this, or I hope so. In Ecuador, there's a property that has 21 kinds of fruit, and I want to ship you. And I want people to become a part of it too. So stay with the ministry. We talk to the ministry. We talk to the people who come in, brothers, sisters. It's what makes this ministry. Go see Jim Brown. He doesn't talk to anybody there. There's a live stream there. Jim Brown would be very upset with my cursing sailor mouth. I did thousands of hours without ever one curse word. I can't blame, my ways, my sins, because my daughter and son are missing. It stresses me every day, and I'm trying everything I can do without, losing my mind to keep myself, relevant and here and speaking and not lose my mind. So I come in here and share the word with you guys because I have to. And we all need to be doing this anyways. We're supposed to share that light. Don't hide that light in a basket. So David, appreciate it. I don't want to take anything from anybody. Okay. I don't need to own anything. Like I said, I'm trying to actually purchase the ministry for you guys, for us, for the body, for us. I'm just one dude. There are other people who love this world as much as I do. And I really wish that one of you would join me someday on one of these live streams. I've invited over and over again. This channel's been up for years and nobody's ever come in here and we can set up a link where we can talk back and forth. I think this would be much better if there was one more person talking about. I don't never short of words. I can live stream all day. If I had that other land payment paid off, you know, um, I could sit back and live stream every day and not do anything. But I wouldn't do that. I have things to do, brothers, sisters. Um, I have a whole ministry to look after. Until we can get the bodies here on the ground, we need to, keep this live stream going and sup and iron sharpens iron. So I apologize for my shortcomings on this ministry, but I hope you can glean. You're supposed to have a spiritual filter anyways, and spiritually filter all things. Okay. And like I said, I don't know if it's ever been said before, but you're supposed to have a spiritual calculator. Father, through Christ, said, I am the hados, I am the way, the narrow way. So we need to make sure that all these things, if it doesn't add up, that's why he said it, I am the truth. And that's when you get to the separating, the dividing the truth from the dark, from the light, is without, Father is without flesh, Father is without sin, Father is perfect and pure, and he cannot sin. And that is Christ inside of us, brothers, sisters. He's blameless. Paul said we have an inner man. He cannot sin. The outer man is what sins. That's why he tells us to cut this off. Not physically, brother, sister. Don't start mutilating your body. I'm talking about these traditions of men. And when you do, this world's going to hate you for doing that. They want you to go along with the herd. They're goats and there are sheep, and there's two different herds. It's a little flock, Father's flock. Remember, he says in the book of Luke, fear not, oligos, Oligos, David, one word at a time. When you study one word at a time, it will start sticking because you'll know it's the aletheia truth. That's what's so good about Brother Jim Brown, is he can help you, and hopefully you've been able to do through my sharing of the ministry here. If you went and saw Brother Jim's Brown's learnings, his lessons, that he has a whiteboard and he covers way more than I cover. I only give you just a little, if it was like corned beef or something, I just give you a little sliver. He's like the prime rib of this ministry, brothers, sisters. I have changed the name of the ministry from Predestined for Light because I'd already taught predestination. I've already taught the Lord's Prayer. I've already taught that Father creates all things. I'd already knew. I try to get people to understand that Father's creating all things. If it says he writes all things, then this isn't happening by chance. We have really difficult things that happen in our life, and we need to let that stew and let him. We don't understand. Like a day on this rock is like 1,000 years with Father. And see, that's what's so good. Like with Brother Jim, he'll teach you there's no such thing as 1,000. I'm just using some of these things that you're familiar, the dialect that because we live so far, 2,600 years into this New Testament, New Covenant, that we have forgotten we're so far away from when Christ, that age of deception was put over by the church, the veil. That's what the talks on the bow is. That's that veil that was birthed when Christ was birthed. And this is what Brother Jim doesn't teach you. Brother Jim doesn't even have any idea what I'm talking about. So I would tell you, the only thing I would ever tell you with Brother Jim is just don't. He has no idea the way this celestial firmament works. He loves the gospel. You don't need to know about this clock above your head. That is in the book of Timothy. This adds to your faith, like legs on faith. It's going to add to your faith over here. So that's why I changed the channel name from Predestined for Light, because I teach pro horizo. I constantly go over that. Predestination is the foundation of what this is all about. He created vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, workers of iniquity and darkness that do workers of dark, right? Don't judge them by their cover. You'll know them by their fruit, a dark fruit. That's why we pluck out the bad apple in here, because that apple will upset the whole apple cart. And we can't just let it sit in there and stew. See? So this is why Father puts us to because everybody wants that feel-good Jesus. Everybody wants that lovey-dovey butterfly, bubbles and butter, sit down, church pew, one day, Sunday, fun day Jesus. And Christ is a suffering. The gospel is the ellipsis. And that's what predestination brings us to, is I pull you from your dark body, sin, flesh, to my horizo, above daily, to my light, I'm the separator. That's what, it didn't say light. It didn't say life. He said, I am the horizo. I'm the separator of this dark and this light. And I'm from above. I'm without flesh. I sent flesh, but the flesh that I sent can't sin. Perfect flesh. Remember, Christ was perfect in every way, and so is Father. So when he beats us and we don't understand and it hurts, it's just pain trying to leave our body, which I'm a veteran, we call that weakness. Pain is just weakness trying to leave your body. And when you put yourself through the test, what doesn't kill you only makes you stronger. So, in a sense, I'm mixing a little bit of my militant ways with scripture, and you're not supposed to marry truth to a lie. I'm just trying to explain to you. It's a daily cross that we carry. That's the yoke that he was yoked to. He didn't carry a cross. Nobody carried crosses. That's that modern day version that you're not supposed to be partaking in. And everybody does that. Everybody, it's okay to do that. No, it's not. And if you don't speak up about, oh, you're being so judgmental. I know, I'm not under the laws of Moses, you idiot. Grow up. I don't do these Levitical laws. I can eat what I want, okay? I'm not going to get in Father's graces by faith, and faith alone is what saves me, and I have to endure to the end to be saved. So know what you're talking about when it comes to this word, or do not speak up. That's the false teacher. That is the word scorpizo. I have been there, brothers and sisters, because I love the word, but not enough. Father didn't bring me to the word because I was lazy. And I didn't study it one word at a time. And I didn't know what I was talking about. I mean, I did, but I was mixing and marrying my own versions of it. And I'm not saying you have to get it exactly when you're trying to say it with somebody. Father will call out to them anyways. You know, if the word is correct and it's truth, it's going to be perfect in all ways. But I'm just saying, you're not going to be able to at first, when you share this, that's why I don't bite off more than you can chew. Just go learn the gospel first. The gospel is thlipsis. That's the word tribulation. It's the suffering. And you learn through, like, the best thing you could do is sit down and just start with Matthew. Okay, let's just make it simple. The gospel, we see the gospels of Matthew, we see the parables of Matthew, we see Matthew brings us to where we take up that cross. I tell you that, you know, the backbone of this ministry is Matthew 10:34 through 39. I know I still mirror the predestination teaching, but that is your daily walk. If you read Matthew 10:34 through 39 until you know it, because it's right here on your heart, you'll understand what you here are to do. And now you'll understand why the suffering, that this is not in vain, that he is really here to cause all of this division between all this world and us. You know, he said he would put enmity between the seed, right? That's right, because because of that original sin in the garden, that we faltered in our faith. We faltered. We listened to some serpent, someone with the forked tongue, say one thing and do somebody else, right? Oh, that sounds familiar, like Mr. Warp Speed. We've been there. We've all lied. One lie and 99 truths is a lie. 99 truths and a lie, still, it don't matter how you would still fork it. That's the serpent. You understand? And we've all been there. We've been vipers. That's the halo. That's that crown. See, we put that above our, we're supposed to put him. Father is not the serpent. Father doesn't have a halo. Father is I am. Father doesn't have flesh. That is man. That is a representation of the dragon. Remember? People take and literalize this stuff, and now we got dragons. We got fire-breathing dinosaurs, So, but don't sensationalize the word. See, that's what we do. So study it, David, one word at a time. All of us speaking to the bride, and slow down. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to know. It's intimidating. There's a lot of words in that book. And if everyone you have to have right, well, and don't change even a letter, that's super intimidating. I know. I've been there. It dominated my thoughts for a long time, for decades. I wanted it right. I didn't want to get it wrong. I knew I was making a serious mistake. There were times I just set it down because it scared me so much. I didn't stop thinking about it. I didn't stop talking about it, but I didn't sit down and read it because it was too scary. I didn't want it to enter in correctly. And I'd read it, I'd read it, sit down, I'd get in a little bit, and I'd start listening. Okay, it's starting to kind of go in. I think I got it. And I'd sit down and read it the next time. We go, wait a minute, I'm getting something totally different now. Why am I lazy? Study the words, one word at a time. Know what you're saying. Know what the hell. Remember, we'll figure out this, how easy it is to help you figure this out. Hell is not a place. Hell is not below your feet. Hell is not hell. If it's a place, it's an empty space between in your skull, your two ears right there, your thick skull right there. That's hell. Hell's not below your feet. Earth's not below your feet. Hell is the word bis. Revelation 9:11 says they have an angel. Okay? An angel. I'm an angel. I know you might not think that, but I am. I'm a messenger. I'm a magi. I speak the celestial gospel. I've declared the celestial gospel. I've painted my body with the celestial firmament markers to show you the times, so that I can teach these times so you can see the difference between a false star marker, the stars can be corrupted, and truth that's told in the firmament. The gospel, Revelation 12:13, enemy footstool sign, the Star of David. That hadn't happened since the time of Christ, and the whole world missed it. Probably none of you in this room, unless you've been following me, even know it happened. And I don't know where else you would have learned that unless you listen. Maybe Father would have put it in your eyes, but it's Oligas. Know that we had the marker that marked the birth of our love, Shiloh, that put the veil over the church, the age of deception, Pisces, happened again in our lifetimes. Whoa, holy crap, are you serious? Yeah, it happened again. The whole world that loved Christ so much should have been falling at their feet. They should have been announcing on speakers, and loud speakers should have been dancing naked in the streets. They would have done this in the back in time, and celebrated. And I don't mean to, but just whatever. At least the pagans would have. Everybody's like, what? The Star of David, Venus, the morning star, not Lucifer. The king star. Remember Revelation 9:11, they have a king over them, a messenger, the messenger of the abyss, knowledge, no knowledge. Most people don't have any idea what I would tell them on this. Are you telling me the age that birth? Well, they don't even get that. They say, okay, well, the star of Christmas star, there's no Christmas star. There's no such thing as a Christmas star. You're an idiot. The Star of David, Christ was from the house of David. Remember, he was born of Bethlehem, right? The Star of Bethlehem, that birth to the age of Christ, right? Pisces, Vesica Pisces, the birth of the water vessel. He did not have flesh. Why do you think he birthed it through the Vesica Pisces? He had the birthday flesh vessel through the amniotic fluid, through the canal, the birth canal, through water. He doesn't exist in flesh. He had to birth the flesh vessel to fulfill the Gentile nation. All flesh under this covenant. Do you understand what he did? No, most people don't. They don't know Christ. They don't understand this whole. Do you realize that this firmament how do you think Herod was all having the firstborn killed? Because he knew the king was going to be birthed. It said so in the celestial firmament. Not only when that marker happened did it birth, Shiloh, the birth of the king, it birthed a whole new celestial age. Holy crap. Holy crap, we went from fire. Yeah, God that says, have sex with your sister, multiply, be fruitful, eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Remember the God of war, fee. Take your child up to the altar and sacrifice Isaac on the altar, right? Yes, I want you to take and have the sacrifice of this lamb and put it at the blood at the head of your doorway, your post of your doorway, and so your headdress, your address is marked with the blood. So I will pass over. I will not kill your firstborn. Not just your child, but your firstborn sheep and your firstborn goat or whatever, any one of your firstborn. I don't care if they were in their 30s, 40s, and they were dead in the morning. You didn't follow this. This was the God of fire. This is Aries, brothers, sisters. This is Aries. This is Father. This is the place of rest in the tabernacle that birthed in Jupiter and the King Star 3 times in 1939 so they can birth Israel, the nation. They birthed the nation of Israel off a celestial marker in the firmament. Do you understand? I am a magi. I understand these firmament markers in the sky because you can't go to the sky. There's no such thing as space. Get out of here. You stink. Like this world, Earth, the rule. Do you think that these people can go to the sky? You can land on some light? Good luck with that, right? There's no such thing as luck. There's no such thing as free will. I will not take this. This is an abomination. These people take and twist and forward and sensationalize this word and make it and massage it and rape it is what they do. They add to it. He said, don't add to my word. Don't even add a jot or a tittle or I'll blot your name out. You know what whiteout is? You know what the delete button is? You know what, like corrupt the mainframe like a virus, cause it to shut down? Yeah, that's what you're doing to yourself. You're giving up your treasure to these worldly things. Gods in the sky. Please, brothers and sisters, do not fall for unfruitful works of darkness. That's why I thank Father for this ministry. There's nobody else showing you the hodos, the narrow way. Do not sup with vipers. He said, you knew I was a snake before you let me in. And then he let the bite in, and I'm not being political. Who's your masters? If you don't stand up against this, Christ stood up against the law. Halakha, Haggadah, water baptism. To be baptized in blood, he said, have your garments washed white, clean, washed in the blood of the Lamb. When I return, and in that blood that he paid, remember, put the blood of the altar, right? Sacrifice that blood, bring that in and sprinkle it over the law, the Ark of the Covenant by the two cherubs. This was all fulfilled. Your body is the temple, brothers and sisters. Christ is inside of you. He's not in the sky. He's never been in the sky. He birthed the perfect vessel to fulfill Jew and Gentile, man and woman, Cain and Abel, good and evil. Truth always marries a lie, brothers and sisters. That's not going to stop. That's always happened throughout Scripture. King Solomon said there's nothing new under the sun, and that's not. We're here again. We're here again in these same rituals, sadistic, satanic, demonic ways. Satan is the adversary, and demonic is distributor fortunes or lies. This is what the whole world does. Don't think that you're not have done it. I've done it. It's not 2025. That you can start right there. Because if you celebrate that calendar, you are forgetting that there's a calendar that's above your head. And it tells the times like it says in the book of Genesis, not some stupid lunar pagan calendar where they have added all these dates to get you to celebrate these sugar rituals is what they are. Get your acidity low, get your your energy low. So you're doing these low energy rituals. And we're not supposed to celebrate anything, let alone be doing rituals and customs on a calendar. He said it in the book of Jeremiah 10. Learn not the ways of the heathens, and be not dismayed at the ways of the signs of the firmament, for the heathens are dismayed at them. For what, right? Learn not their traditions. This is this Yule wheel, brothers, sisters. This is this celebration that they're doing right now today. Thousands of years ago, this was outlawed by the pontiff. Remember, they said, we're not doing this Yule wheel, the sun god. There's a goddess of heaven spinning the Big Dipper, and they thought the sun was dying, so we're going to pray to Saturn. We'll have a celebration of Samhain. They thought, remember, at 9:23, the sun started going away on the equinox. Equal day, equal night. Equal day, equal night. Equinox, 3:23, 9:23, 6:23, 12:23. I take this personal, brothers and sisters. My dad died right there. Not my father. My dad was taken right there. I've always been one of these Grinches or whatever about Christmas. People hated that I told my son that Christmas isn't about Jesus Christ. Oh, don't take that away from your kid just because you had a bad experience when you were young. Shut up. Don't tell me how to raise my kid. Jesus is not the reason for the season. Passover is not Easter. It's only written once, and it was Passover. Remember, mark your post, your doorway with blood. That's the God of Aleph, fire, fee, five, four, ritual, eye for an eye. Remember, your enemy will come against you one way, and I will make them flee 7 ways. You are my heavens. I love you, Israel. You are my favorite. You are my pride. I am so prideful of you that no nation will form any weapons. They will not come against you because you love me. You don't go after gods in the sky and make up your own law. Or under my law, the wages of sin, one is death. And that's exactly what Israel did. They fell unto gods under the sky. Remember, Ahab married Jezebel, not gods in the sky. Isn't that ironic that father divorced his bride, Israel, because they went after gods in the sky and didn't go kill the giants? They were eating flesh, human flesh, Masseh. They ate the king of the Yule wheel. This is a ritual called the Saturnalia. It's called Christmas, you idiots. They celebrate this. It was outlawed in America. They would fee you and throw you in jail for celebrating. The nation of America was founded on Christmas, for Christ's sake. They came over here because they were celebrating, remember that Masseh ritual, the sacrament of the Mass, and they would kill you. It was the Catholic Church. Remember the red crosses? The Catholic Inquisitions, they go out and slaughter your, I don't care if you were a child, they unzip you and pop your child's head in the ground like it was a grape. They were savages. They loved eating human flesh to their gods. They thought they could communicate to their deities, little g gods, right? By having a burnt offering of dead flesh, by eating the flesh that would suffice their sun god, Jesus Christ. Birthed in the middle of the winter, Satan in the manger. They had sex with beast, man, and woman. Do you understand? Brothers, sisters, this is been going on for thousands of years. This is not new news. Might want to get with the news. North, right? East, west, south, right? This is the one that the deadly head wound that was healed in Scripture that talks about it. Where, remember, Constantine rebranded this. He thought he was going to lose his tail to the empire, all these Gothic tribes, all these Ostrogoths, and Vandals, and Visigoths, all these tribes that went after Baphomet worship. That's what Ahab did. He married a woman that went after these Sumerian northern, sun gods and tree gods and gods of, head of beast and all the pole gods. And yes, this is Satanism, Christianity, Catholicism, Mormonism. They all follow these same things. They're all vain. I said earlier in the live stream, there's not one good church. He said twice that he does not dwell in temples made by hands. He destroyed the physical temple. He destroyed the physical temple. He destroyed the physical temple. We only got to visit Father one day a year through, and we couldn't even see Father. He was perfect, pure light, pure, undefiled, Hokadesh, sovereign, without blame. One day, and now he gets to be inside of us every single day. You get to be with him every day, and you get to be with Christ, and you're going to go try to chase him in a church and think he's somewhere in the sky, and you got to pray that he's right there with you, brothers and sisters. He's right there with you. Your body is the temple. There is no place in Israel that is not Israel. I rebuke anybody who is teaching you this. They are heathens and they are swine. Learn not the ways of the heathens. For one cutteth the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. There they go. They're going to build their temple, their rituals. They're going to do all these mammon things, and Father is making them do these things so that he will test his bride to see if they are, it says the elect, the select. Stop calling them the elect. Just say select. It means they're already bought, paid. It was 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock today, this AM, when I was sitting there with Father and he was supping with me, and I'm sitting there in this blessed place to be here. And he's sitting there and he's, because it's just the word. I'm going to this 144 going, Father, why have you blessed me so much? Why do you do this? Why do you give me such bounty in the word? And why do you keep pushing these things onto me? And why do you give me such understanding and keep showing me these truths? I only need the gospel, Father. And he said, look, you're my messenger. Just do what I tell you. Don't question me. I do all things after my own counsel and my own authority. You go tell them that they are selected. The elect, the chosen is not 144,000. That's a stupid parable. And it's not stupid. It's stupid. The parable is beautiful. It's the fulfillment of the covenant, all flesh. He didn't say 1201 for Jeremiah and Judah because Ahab married Jezebel. And Jezebel went after this Baphomet worship, and it spread like wildfire through the northern 10 kingdoms, and he split the kingdom in two. And that left Jeremiah and Judah. So he didn't say, 1201 for Jeremiah and 1201 for Judah, and well, Ham, you only get 11,999. You understand? You know what I'm saying? That's right. For one cut of the tree out of the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with the axe. They bring it home. They deck it with silver and gold, balls and tinsel. They stand it up, nails and hammers, so it stands erect, upright, like their tree worship, like Moloch. This is what they did. Remember, throw your kids in the fire, eat your kids, Krampus. The same thing today, guys. Santa Claus. Eat your kids. Remember, stole coal in the stocking, all this. Oh my gosh. Brothers, sisters, nothing's changed. There's nothing new under the sun. It's exactly what Solomon said, brothers, sisters. So I hope you find this ministry a blessing, because Brother Jim does a really good job at teaching this, brothers, sisters. But I hope that you can get a little bit more celestial abyss understanding over here at High Desert Faith and Truth Ministries, because I mirror predestination. The select. I also did foreknow who I did select. Who I did predestine, the ones that I already bought, I paid, I purchased, and I'm going to pick them up. They are my purchased possession, and I will meet them, right? Right? No, I'm going to come, right? We are supposed to meet him in the sky, right? Not above your head. This is the sky, brothers and sisters. When the skies roll back like a scroll. It's not above your head. Get over it. It already is happening. The magnetosphere is already weakened by 40% since 1900. Get with the news. This ain't new news. It's been happening since the 1800. The degradation, the negation, the magnetosphere, northern lights at the equator, right? Okay, whatever. The sky's rolling back like a scroll is happening already, brothers and sisters. That sky, to meet him in the sky, that is put that light at the top of your house. Skyscrapers, huh? Gonna go to the sky? Oh, Jack of the Giant Beanstalk, are you? You better knock it off. You better quit sensationalizing things. You better quit marrying truth to a lie. You better quit yoking. That's what he did. He divorced his bride Israel, remember? Because he said, Ahab married Jezebel, and he was a man of God who went after the Agape. And when he went and came back from long periods after working or war, he came back, the children couldn't speak the Agape. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the Torah, the Old Testament. They were speaking this other gospel that Christ says today. This is Christianity. This is this Mormonism. There's no prophets. Christ was the last prophet. He fulfilled the rituals, the celebrations, the custom, and all prophecy was fulfilled when he said no stone would be left upon another, and the the physical temple was destroyed. So was the physical law. He said so. It wasn't abolished. He said when he hung on a tree, it was fulfilled. The law was fulfilled. I am not under the law. I am not bound by fate. I have a bought, purchased, paid possession. Prognosko. He had foreknowledge, and he already bought his bride, right? From the foundation of the world, I am predestined. I am destined. I'm not bound by the laws or sealed by fate. I'm not under the law. Don't you understand that? The sooner you get that through your heads, the sooner you might start coming to this gospel and you realize that you don't have to suffer because of the law. And if you do, you will be rewarded. He will pour out a just measure. The word sozo, salvation, you must endure to the end, to be picked up, carried, lifted from beginning point to an ending point, healed. And anybody who caused you pain, he will heal, but not until the end. Anybody who screwed you, he will straighten it out. He is the horizo, not the scorpizo. The scorpizo is the one that causes the sheep to scatter, the flock, to divide. He said, I am the dorizo. I am the divider. I am the way. I am the way. I am the way. I am the hados. Hados. I am the narrow way, like the divide. But in reverse, deny yourself daily, take up your cross daily, and follow after me. Yes, he grows inside of you. Horn of plenty, lesser than and greater than. What do you know? When you're willing to deny yourself because Father wills you to do it. If I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. Christ will grow inside of you. Little baby Christ in you, little C over here, big old self over here, deny self, smaller E, smaller L, smaller F, big C, smaller H, bigger H. It's not getting smaller. No, you have to deny yourself if you want Christ to grow inside you. It's called the horn of plenty, and he grows inside, but you have to be willing to Father's will, not your own will. Deny yourself daily, take up your cross daily, and follow after me. So you have to carry your cross until you die. You can't ever set it down. Every day. Every day. That's an OCD. That's right. Less of us and more of him. The narrowing. That's what he does. That's why he's the narrow way. Broad is the way. Broad is the way, because broad is the way that's not willing to narrow self. This is the word dialogo. Dialogo is to be push. It's a noun. Dialogo is a noun. Push from this side by your friends because they don't like you, and your family doesn't like you because you don't, go along and do their celebrations and work. You're pissed off at you because you don't bring the stuff to the white elephant party, and you're always on the fritz that you're going to lose your job. And you don't hang out at the water cooler or take smoke breaks and talk about the stupid, worldly things, and you're always imprisoned over here. That's what the word does to you. It sets you apart and it imprisons you in your own enslavement. You become enslaved and you get theolobo, you get pushed down. And theolobos is to be pinched, pinch, pinch. I was a 95 Bravo military police, even worse. Probably the worst thing you could be in the military. The first ones into war and the last ones are the military police. Everybody reports to the police. So, no, you're an idiot, dead Jesus. You don't know what you're talking about. There is no such thing as Jesus. So get out of here, child. Yep, we know there's no Sky Daddy Jesus in here, but you're an idiot. You don't even know what you're talking about. Jesus wasn't a mythical demigod. Jesus is a translation of the Hamashiach, but there's no such thing as Jesus. So Jesus is mythical, exactly, because there was no letter J. But you couldn't teach that. You don't know your ass from a hole in the ground, so don't come in here and try to teach your brutish in nature bullshit. Bull, bell, ball, crap, dung, feces, poop, apologize for the cursing. But I was taught by being a veteran. I had quite the potty mouth, you know, not a sailor, but spewing semen samples. I wasn't in the Navy. I couldn't fit my head in the jar, so I wasn't a Marine. And I wanted to fly and helicopters or become a reconstructionist for do traffic control, air traffic controller. And so I chose to become a police officer because I knew I was smart. I wasn't as smart as my brothers, and I was fooling everybody the whole time. And I did. And I don't mean to go because I didn't have to prove anything. Thank you. Cool. And I didn't see, you said something earlier there, man. Hold on. Let's see. Okay, hold on. I'll give you one second here. I gotta let my dogs in here. Oh, my puppies, my good boys. You guys are the best boys that ever did best. That ever did best. That ever did bestest boys. I know Dad's got to get up in a minute. I got to get this wall done. All right. Oh, it's a great challenge. I know exactly idea what I'm doing here. All right. So, listen, David, if you're still here, go see Brother Jim. DSW is in here right now. You see others that are over here that come in here from time to time from Grace and Truth Ministries. Okay. That is the best thing I can give you. I mean, we get gifted a lot of bounty and a lot of what we would call treasure in this lifetime, but the gift of somebody, the hearing ear, obviously, because Father gives us that gift, and you know, the apocalypse is to lift off the cover or the thin veil, the toxin, you know, from our eye, this toxic world, the cover. But if you do hear what I'm saying, there's not a better gift. Although my life is hell, and it always will be until the day I die, but I'm actually starting to see a little bit past this. It's been a long 15 months, guys. It's been a long 15 months, and I don't know anything about my son, so I'll try to give you an update here, DSW, in a minute here. But the best gift I have ever been given is really was Brother Jim, like putting the word of the Father on me. You know, like making the time to take the personal phone call and call him. Now, I'd called him before and we'd spoken, but it was really breaking down out here in the desert because I knew my son was struggling, and then I'm already out here and whatnot. But he told me I lacked fellowship, and he didn't want to hear my excuses that I was trying to rent out the community hall and nobody came, and I was trying to give out a seat. He just didn't want to hear it. You know, he said, well, you've isolated yourself pretty much, you know, and he didn't say this all in one. He's just Brother Jim is very good with his words. And I know what he meant because he put the word on me. But he didn't want to hear my excuses, whether I, you know, had tried to get people to bring people to Brother Jim or not. He didn't care about that. He said I needed the fellowship. He like, I don't care about your whole deal about the thing about you still need fellowship. So I like that he didn't hear that. And this channel wouldn't even be here right now. Been fellowshipping with your brother in the last 8 months. The only one I can find out. Right. So please, give thanks to Father for having Brother Jim be so love the word so much that he didn't hear anything. The word is what he put on me. So this ministry wouldn't even be here. I wouldn't have created the ministry. I've created other YouTube channels. Obviously, I have other channels, but the original Predestined for Light, mirroring Brother Jim's predestination teachings in the gospel, was not possible. And I'm telling you, the last 15 months without having this fellowship, like I said, because I don't make comments over there at Grace and Truth anymore. I stay out of the chat because I just don't learn anything. I get too distracted. I have to watch it 2 or 3 times, and it does. I don't have the kind of time anymore. This ministry has kind of taken a little bit of a precedence and all other things, but I still find my way over there and see everybody that's in there. But I don't make conversations. I used to be super vocal in the chat, but anyways, there's the chat over there. There's the chat here, and there's so many learning tools that you can use right now. But the best tool that you can ever be given, seriously, and I don't want to overpower the word because the word itself is powerful enough. It doesn't need added to, like he said. But if you'll stop trying to learn for a minute and get time to get the right books, because you probably don't even have the right books to study with, stop trying to learn the word. Go see Brother Jim at Grace and Truth Ministries. Learn how to unlearn. First, you need to unlearn. Before you could learn anything, you need to flush out all that bad. And that's going to take time too, like baptism and salvation and repentance and all these things that take time. It takes time to flush out that old bad habits. And then the old teachings that we taught ourselves, that's horrible teachings. We taught ours because we're just lazy or lame or we didn't know or whatever. When you learn something from Brother Jim Brown, it will stick, okay? If you're David, it's going to stick. If you haven't been over there yet, it will stick. And that's when I knew personally that I was doing it wrong, because Brother Jim's words just did it to me on his own, knowing that what he was saying was the truth. I didn't have to have any certain kind of miracle tool or anything. It was just for the fact that I knew that exact words that were coming out of this man's mouth. Obviously, he'd had, 4 decades plus, then more than me, and I'm like, whoa. Well, I thought it meant that, but I know that's what it means, because he's just giving me every bit of background. I've learned about the customs, the cultures. I've learned, the difference, is it an adjective? Is it noun? Is it neuter gender? I've never one word studied it one word at a time. So the best gift that you could ever receive is just to try to stop and trying to learn too much. Just slow down, unlearn and relearn, and then plant your base in the Petra, which is the gospel. Right, Nathan? You know what I'm saying? You can't stop it. When you hear the truth, it's like everything else it goes away. He said it much, but like, for example, he'll say like this word, he does that. He says the word love. Your scripture says love. Scratch that word out in your scripture until you get your interlinear text and write that word in, love, right? Write agape. Oh, wow. And then he teaches you what that means, and then you learn the base of it, the root, and he gives you all these scriptural references like a walking concordance, and he's a lexicon. He knows the definition, and he's got his own, experiences. So he is an asset that is you can't get a better study tool than Brother Jim Brown. He says, call no man teacher, but he is, nobody shares and teaches the gospel like Brother Jim Brown. It's not being taught anywhere else. Unless you guys have started a YouTube channel or something else, I don't know anybody else that's sharing this on any other platform, in any other country. I mean, this is a worldwide ministry. Thank God, Brother Jim. The internet was invented for Grace and Truth Ministries, because it wouldn't be what it is today. I don't want Brother Jim to stop doing, any radio or television, but I don't even know why he does it anymore. Is he even worth his time? With the internet is so much more. I'm so thankful that he doesn't spend so much time corresponding and networking with all these people that are in radio and television, because I've done it. It's not easy to do radio and television, guys. Contacting people and networking with people in radio, they're a little harder to deal with. If you ever dealt with people in communication, they have a little bit different dialect. So people in again, radio and television have taken and consumed a lot of Brother Jim's brown time so he can get the word out. And now he has this beautiful tool called the interweb, where there's nowhere this ministry doesn't reach, pretty much, because there's internet everywhere. Somebody's hearing this. So love it. Love it, love it, love it. So use this, slow down, unlearn, and then relearn. And when you start building your house, not on sand, but on the rock, Petra, it's kind of like, it's like digging, or just anything in life. You chip away a little bit, you chip away a little bit, you chip away a little bit, chip away. The next thing you know, a big old chunk will fall off. Kind of the reverse. You build one block at a time from the foundation, build a solid foundation on the rock. You start building, you gain some confidence. I know there's nowhere Brother Jim can't go, and he'd be like, no, nobody can come. I don't care who they are, biblical scholar, I don't care who they are. There's nobody that can tell Brother Jim. The only thing you can tell Brother Jim about is his lesson on the 23.5 degree reason for the season. But that's other than that, and that's not the gospel. So it's a perversion is what it is, but that's okay. I mean, it is what it is. It's not, he spends so little time on it, it doesn't matter. He didn't hardly ever talk about it anyways until about Christmas time. So other than that, I've never been able to learn from anybody else the way I learned from Brother Jim. And he never helped me, or I've never been helped by helping finding the word, because he helped me to slow down. Because like the original thing, David, was that I wasn't getting it. I was getting the Charlie Brown. And now I look back all these years and I'm like, thank you, God. I can't imagine all this stuff I would have had to unlearn. So are we thankful, David, for the Charlie Brown? Well, want. Yes, we are. Oh, thank you, Father, for giving me that deaf ear. And when I try to read it and I'm not in the right mindset, you're not ready for me to even understand these things that you will reveal. Seeking you shall find, asking you shall receive, knock, and I will come sup with you, is what he says. And that's all about the understanding of this knowledge of the gospel. And that way you don't even need to worry about these things. I guarantee you won't read a lot of other stuff that you may have in the past. I was all over the place. I'm here in Enoch, and I'm over here in Jasher. I'm reading Lilith, and I'm reading the Dead Sea Scrolls. I'm over here in reading the cuneiform tablets, and I'm all this, I'm just everywhere. I'm reading everything I can. It's all going in, but it's just a big jumbled mess. And some of these I put together and thought I had these, and it just turned out it was wrong when I actually sat down and read the word, or slowed down and went back and let the word reveal itself through definition. So that's the best thing about Brother Jim, is he brings us, if you leave definition, you leave the truth. And he said, I am the truth. So don't leave the definition. And there's a lot more to study than definition. And that's what Brother Jim does better. He's an absolute gem for the ministry for us, with his, visuals, with his board, and with the word. You're just not going to get it anywhere. You could learn more in one Jim Brown 3-hour lesson. And he goes, he does his live, and he'll give you CDs if you call him up. And then probably, I don't know, your whole time in church. That sounds crazy. Stop it. So I'm not sure what you've put in your head and you've learned wrong, incorrect, but that's what you need to wipe clean first. See, get rid of the crap before you start, trying to learn anything, if that makes sense. So that's what Brother Jim did for me. He really helped me sweep out all the, dirt, get all the dirt, get all the log that was in my eye, get this cleaned up. And then I was able to start out one word at a time, go back through what I'd already knew, and many things I was very familiar with, but now it started to stick. I'm like, wow, okay. So when you're hungry for the word, you guys, you're going to do anything you can to get it. Just the best thing I can tell you is if you're like me and he just makes you so starving for the word, you just slow down, just make sure the word that you go in is the truth. Make sure you got some history on it. Remember, there's not just the word itself, because he's the word, but the book is full of parables, idioms, cultures, and slangs. The time, customs. It's this what means something today didn't mean anything it meant 1,000 years ago, 2,000 years ago. Remember, it's been over 2,600 years ago since Christ. So this has been a long time. We've lost a lot of things. Yep, you can't accept Christ. No such thing. Go tell people you can't accept Christ. Sorry, no such thing. Father said, if I didn't call out to their hearts to seek after me, not one of them would. So you can't be saved. Think about all these heathenist pastors out there, whatever, priests and deacons or whatever you want to, all of them telling people they can be saved. Just come to Jesus and you just accept Christ and you can be saved. That is blasphemous. You can't believe in Jesus. Belief is an action word. There's actions that it legs on faith. So silly, silly out there trying to make people think that they've been saved. And now all they got to do is just, oh, I came to Jesus. You didn't come to Jesus. Father pulled you to his son through his word. And that's what I do in here. I share the light and the word does it. I'm supposed to share the light. The word does it all on his own. It might be 2 minutes later, boing, like a, you might get it right away, but it might be like one of them boomerangs. It take a minute and the word comes back and bam, it hits you. Might be 2 months later that it comes back and hits you. Might be 2 years, later, bam. And see, then it wasn't me, was it? All glory to Shiloh. It was the word that convicted you. It's the word that rebuked your heart. And it's the word that made you walk in repentance. It wasn't me. Don't give me any credit. I have nothing to do with it. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm carrying my cross. I'm supposed to share the light, not hide it in a basket. So you've got to get to where you know it and feel confident enough about it to maybe even start a YouTube channel, if you will, or go talk to some people about it. Share the light, spread the good news. The king is nigh. Jews and Gentiles under this covenant. It's not real super complicated, brothers and sisters. It'll love everybody. You can't fool the elect. It's not possible. They were selected and they were already bought and paid and purchased for. They were chosen. The select. So maybe we'll do a live stream on that later. That's right. That's right. Make sure you sow them on fertile ground too. Remember, Elsa? Especially on our own, when we're sowing love thyself, when we're sowing our own seeds. We're planting our treasure. Make sure we don't get them on, rocky ground or loose soil. We don't want to be in vain. Let's blow away, right? With the first storm. So absolutely. Hey, thank you so much. But that's what we do. We sow seeds. And I used to say that to my son. He's like, Dad, that sounds so gay. I'm like, what? He's like, you sit out there and you go sow seeds in people. I'm like, well, I'll just stop it. He's like, well, I know. He's like, maybe you can find another thing to say and mean the same thing. Because I've heard you say that a couple of times and it sounds kind of weird, like sowing seeds and fertile ground and stuff. He's like, that's coming off as kind of, I said, I love you, son. But when I speak of circumcision, I'm not talking about the male genitalia, okay? Thank you for your input, son. Because I used to tell him, you go out and sow seeds, you plant seeds in people, but he was young. He was probably 13 or 14 years old when he said that to me, because he loved talking about the word too. He loved talking about it, He never got in trouble like a referral, but he would The teachers didn't like that he would talk about scripture in school, and they didn't want him talking about it. So he would normally stop. But there were a couple of times that the teacher's like, well, he's been told a few times not to talk about that. And he will stop talking about it, but we don't want to have to give him a punishment. I said, well, he's not bothering anybody, right? It's something he's brought up, and then he's asked to stop, and he stops, right? Yeah. So no, you're not going to do anything to him. You're not. So I didn't like him being in public school, but some of his schooling he did. I didn't always homeschool him. You want to play sports and stuff, football, and play different. That's cool. But he used to tell me that, Dad, yes, give me 75 cents per dollar. Hey, thanks for coming in, Brother Ross, too. There's another fellow Grace and Truth Ministries brother from over there. So, well, today I've got to get that wall built, guys. Somehow, some way, I've got to figure out how to do this wall. I'm a little worried about the door on it now, but I'll figure something out either way. I'll make it work. But so we'll get up in a minute. Maybe I'll go show you guys what I was doing out there. I'm gonna try to make a wall that's got like a layer in between it, so that I can put a wood stove. I've got like an outdoor wood stove, like one of those onion shape, type of a wood stoves. Yeah, we were like in the 30s. We're in the 30s here again this morning. It's the dog days of summer, and it's in the 30s. I've got no firewood. Well, I got about, Kevin and I, when we were out, we threw some, there was this place that was just, people were dumping a bunch of extra, a debris place. They were just dumping extra organic debris. And I've seen some rounds, and so I'm like, let's grab those up and throw them in the back of the truck. Like off in the middle of the woods, and we were making a trip back, so there was a pull out, and there was like a big kind of a landing there. Looks like people were just taking, there wasn't any trash. It was just like yard clippings and debris. And so there was some rounds there, but we grabbed those up, but I still got to split those. But anyways, a little update on the cases. I don't really have anything at this point. I do have a status hearing update on the 25th. Or they're going to make me drive down there again for probably just I don't know. We'll see. I'm hoping something will get done. Something says I love you like a chainsaw. There you go. Or yeah, a sawmill. So, but on that, I don't know what's going to happen after there. So I applied for my passport. I went in, got my passport again, and went and filled out all the paperwork, and went in and got all the passport paperwork filled back out and sent it in. So I should know this week sometime if I get that coming, if it got accepted or whatever. I don't see why not, but hopefully soon I'll figure something out. I do feel like that it's got to go somewhere. When I had the public pretenders, the appointed counsel, they're going to just do whatever. You know how they work. But when you have a paid attorney, they've got to open the case now. They're going to have to actually look at the case. And so it's a game changer. I mean, I feel like I wasn't going anywhere for so long, but now I know for sure that, they can't just sweep this under the rug anymore. This is not something that's just going to get thrown, to the side, and they have to look at the case now. They gonna have to open it up. It kind of hit me the other day when I was sitting there thinking, well, I know John's not doing anything. He's paid, so he's going to do what he needs. But what in the hell are they doing? What are they doing? So um, this definitely makes them have to see what they have. And remember, they can't convict me. The state has what is called the burden of proof, or the preponderance of evidence. They have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt. I know, and I tried so hard, Ross. You know what I'm saying? I tried so hard to not spend the money because I wanted to buy the Ecuador property for the ministry. I didn't. The ministry. Brother Jim produces CDs, which is food, spiritual food. So I can't compete with that, and I'm not trying to compete with Brother Jim. But what I can do is I can produce food, organic food for the ministry, just like he does, and in abundance. And so he'll produce CDs, and I'll produce food. you know it really is, Nathan. It is. I have been, there's no innocent until proven guilty. How, well, they came in here and hit me in the face with a grenade. How's that innocent? Tear gassed me. They're not going to get away with that, guys. I'm not. There's, you know what, I think Father's going to change my life like this. You guys, I have no retirement. I have, everybody steals my retirement every time. Marshall stole my retirement last time. My brother Jeremy stole it before. You know, I don't get retirement from the Army. I don't get Social Security. I tried for 7 years and fought Social Security for 7 years. I don't get a dime. I don't make any money, guys. And you know how my situation is. I work for what I have, and I've been able to pay the ministry off. $47,000 of this ministry is paid off. You know what I'm saying? Um, the other property, it's up for sale. And if I sell it, I'll buy the property in Ecuador immediately. And I'm not buying it for me. Oh man, you should go buy yourself a really nice Toyota truck and deck it all out and get that Overlander. Nope. I'll do that once the ministry's paid off. You know, I'll get what I need. I'll drive this hoopty that I need to get this front end. My tires are bad, bad. I showed that on the live stream. I didn't realize my tires are getting really bad on that Toyota. They're like bald, like almost got cording. I'm going to have to get some more tires here soon. Um, and that right front end fix. I don't know what's going on. It looks like nothing's wrong. It looks beautiful. There's the CV joint's nice. There's nothing leaking out of it. It doesn't, but it just doesn't. I don't know what's going on with it, but it's my $3,000 hoopty. Yeah, but it's okay. It's a '96 4Runner, and I could drive it right now and get to Ecuador. I could go take it down and see Elsa and her husband down there. You know, drive down South America. Get down and put it on a ferry and go somewhere else with it. It'll go anywhere. But that's the only thing I would ever want for me. And the only reason I need a vehicle is just in South America. I would need one here, and that's why this one can stay here. It's fine. But I need one in South America. I don't need anything else. So I don't really need retirement. I don't need anything. I need retirement. I need retirement, guys. I mean, I need something on paper. I've worked my whole life, and I don't have a retirement. I didn't get one from the military. I didn't get that retirement. And Social Security won't give me the money that I paid in since I was 15 years old. I paid Social Security. So I think what Father is working here for me, if this is the way it works, is because I don't need a lot of money. I just want to travel. I get the ministry paid off, and the ministry should pay for itself. I will create enough things with the ministry, like these, you know, um, cabins and stuff out here. The ministry should be able to create revenue to keep the ministry afloat. You know what I'm saying? I don't have $1 million ministry like Brother Jim Brown. I don't have five. I don't pull a paycheck. I don't pull a salary. I don't have 5 people on salaries. I don't need to have $1 million a year. Everything here is paid off. So I don't have to the expenses that Brother Jim has, which is nice. Um, so if I purchase that property down there, I'm sure we'll do some kind of studio and live stream from down in Ecuador too. But it doesn't have to be fancy. I don't need cameramen. I don't need anything like I'm good doing my own film work or whatever. And it's not that I will probably there's internet. and power at that property, at the property in Ecuador. So I'll probably hook internet up there, and not care. Just make sure it's hardwired, not Wi-Fi or whatever. But if not, then we'll figure out something else. But again, the whole idea is, I don't get retirement. I don't get Social Security. I don't get veterans benefits. I don't get disability. I don't get anything, guys. So I need a way to retire, or I'm going to have to work the rest of my life. And I don't care. I will, because I don't have needs. And I'm done. I'm retired. So I can just work for the ministry. So I just need basic expenses, which I think I can cover. I can work. I bet you I can go work for 2, 3 days a month and make enough expenses for me to pay for myself for the rest of the month, because I'm just such a minimalist. And like I said, I'm not trying to mooch off the ministry or anything, but I bet you if I traveled along the ministry, I bet you if I came with money in my pocket, I wouldn't be expecting people pay for my meals, but I bet you cook me a dinner if I came to your house per day. I bet you would like to cook me a dinner, wouldn't you? Or what I'm saying? It's not that I wouldn't come prepared to pay for all my meals, but I'm sure that some of my meals would be supplemented. You know, and if I'm traveling, uh, then I get to share and go meet up with people all over. That's why I keep the ministry going. Where am I going next? And then I'll get to film it. And then you guys will get to meet the ministry too. We'll do that. That'll be with us one of the show. Meet the ministry. Ooh, who's first, guys? Who's first? Meet the ministry. We'll go out and meet the people in the ministry. We'll get to share. Remember, I already told you, I talked about this. If they don't want to be shown, then we won't do that. I can go to people's places exclusive and not say no. They just want to have a fellowship without any, YouTube involved. I can do that. I might say, well, I'm here visiting these people and this, all the things, but never put their face on and never make any contact with associate. People want anonymity. I can do that. I totally can do that. But see what I'm saying? I think I'd be blessed. I think I can travel and have some travel expenses. So I think what Father is trying to do right now is, as much as I don't want to say this, I will file a lawsuit. I'm going to file a lawsuit. They hit me in the face with a grenade. They battered and assaulted me. That at the very minimum is excessive force. So with one lawsuit, just one, guys, just one lawsuit, I won't have to worry about this ever again. My whole life will change because I'm such a minimalist. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. You know what I'm saying? I don't need anything then. I don't need anything. I don't need anything. I have maybe one of those old Land Cruiser type of things in South America that I travel South America in, right? Um, and I have the Forerunner here. I can move around the United Corporation, and then I can move down in South America. And then all I need is I just travel. I need my passport. I'd have to get a rent a car here or there, but whatever. I really feel like I would be much better being unchained. I don't want any of this. I've almost just thought about just giving this away. Seriously, I almost did the other day. I'm like, I just want to give up everything I own. I don't want to own anything anymore. That's my problem. I don't want to look after anything. Actually, I don't want to own anything. I don't want to. What do I want to own anything for? I don't need to own anything, guys. If you need to own something, that's okay. Get over it till you are done anything. But I don't need to own. I don't want the responsibility of that right now. I'm in my 50s. I should be retired, not worry about building all these things and doing all these. I have huge tasks. Some of these things, there's massive things that I'm trying to build now. And I think that if Father would bless me, like I said, I could take even a good substantial amount of money here and employ people, put people to work and pay people, people of good ways. And not that I wouldn't be able to work with people for breaking the probation. I know, Ross. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want that. I just wanted to walk away from this 10 months ago, 12 months ago, 15. Remember too, Brother Ross? He didn't break his probation even. He did it twice. And then they said he did. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy how they said he didn't break it. Oh, hurt a lot of money. They kidnapped her. So I think what Father has been showing me is that he's either going to throw me in jail for a little bit, and I don't think I'm going to go to jail at all. And it's not going to be as bad as I think. And I'm going to get out someday if I go to jail, and it's not going to be permanent, even if because you guys got to remember, if I take it to trial and they convict me, they're going to throw the maximum at me. I'll get the mandatory minimum, is what it's called. But people don't realize when you take it to trial, you don't get off. Like if they convict you, you get the mandatory minimum. So it's now that you didn't take the deal, you're going to get the mandatory minimum. So I probably go away for a little while, but it's not permanent. Like whatever. It's not the risk. I have an attorney. It's not like I have one of these other attorneys that's I'm going to get railroaded. It cost all the Ecuador property. We basically lost the Ecuador property, but we gained to have Pastor still out of jail, not eating squares right now, not eating, oh no, that's turkey. Yeah, right. You're telling me everybody in here is eating turkey and eggs? That's sausage. No thanks. You know, uh, no, these aren't. No, they're not Title 18. The revised statute charges, anyways, Nathan. So they're not even. They're not even. But I'm not going to make the deal of that. So what I'm going to do is with. I don't want to. So I don't want to file these. To hold these people. Don't want to file these. To hold these people accountable. Period. They need to be held accountable. I'm a civil suit attorney for me, trying to help me to find the right one. I'm not trying to gain anything. I don't really want it. I said if I gained a substantial amount of money, I'd be making, a large contribution to Grace and Truth Ministries. I'd probably, probably close to half of what I would get. I would just automatically probably move it over to Grace and Truth Ministries. Try to either buy Brother Jim, a building, something he can get moved into to cut that monthly cost that he's paying for now, or try to maybe take a look at putting some housing in or something. I think probably the best thing to do is get him in a building that he owns. That's outright, not he owns, but something that the ministry owns. I'm sure he doesn't want to own anything either. I'm sure if I said, hey, Brother Jim, can we put this in Grace and Truth, in the name of Grace and Truth, so it's tax exempt and that it can't be taken no matter what, I'm sure he would be fine with that, because it'd just be one less, probably 25, 30. I don't know what he pays for, the building a month, but it's not cheap, being in Hendersonville, right near Nashville. So that's what I'm looking forward to, because I don't need an excessive amount of money. I plan on living on next to nothing. I don't really have a lot of costs. So I do think that maybe this is what Father is setting up in my life, because I don't have retirement and I really can't retire anywhere, because I don't have retirement on paper retirement. I'm retired here in America because I don't have to work, you know. But yeah, I did like Ultimate Warrior. Darn it. You nailed me. I did. He was kind of before I knew he was on all them drugs, but oh yeah, him and Macho Man, they did their tag team. But definitely was a, yeah, WWF, not E. What the F? What happened to the F? Turned into the E. But no, I think Father's setting me up to have retirement. You know what I'm saying? Did he? Cool. Yeah, I didn't watch too much. After I remember seeing Trump body slam Vince McMahon, I said, this is all political now. That's the next president of the final last Trump president. That'll be the last president right there. People are like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm like, oh, don't act like he hasn't been saying he's going to run for president already. Shut up. They're like, dude, you're so crazy. You talk about the craziest things, dude. That's when I quit watching wrestling. So a little bit before, but I used to go watch them all down at the LA Sports Arena, and go to the Forum, and I think I watched Tito Santana fight Don Morocco for the Intercontinental belt probably like 4 times, 3 or 4, ever, almost every time they did it, we were there. But yeah, you grew up watching all that stuff. I used to actually take my beach cruiser from Santa Monica, California. We'd ride up to Venice and go watch, Hulk would be up there lifting weights out there on Venice Beach, right out there in front of everybody. So I remember seeing Andre the Giant get out of a taxi cab in front of the LA Sports Arena. He looked like he was like peeling a freaking, sardine out of a can. And they came out. I was like, whoa. go. I don't know how he fit in there. He kind of leaned out of there, got out of that thing, and leaning over when he was in there the whole time. In a yellow cab, Andre the Giant came up. That was the craziest thing, guys. I'm like, what the hell? And it was Andre the Giant. I'm like, came in a yellow cab, a cab from LA. You know what I'm saying? This is like the 80s. So you know what kind of cab? It was like a Caprice or something, right? You know, but never expected Andre the Giant to get out of a cab, a yellow cab. But he looked so tiny in that thing, or that cab looked so tiny when he got out of there. It was hard to believe. And like I said, my dad looked like Hulk Hogan, guys. So, yeah, my dad looked a lot like Hulk Hogan. I actually had people ask me to come up and ask if my dad was Hulk Hogan, especially in the summertime when his hair would get real light colored, you know, to get toe-headed. Go, you knucklehead. Here, I'll show you. Here's a tattoo. Tell me if he looks like Hulk Hogan. I was a little. Whoa, hey, we spun around there. Oh, come on, light. But yeah, he looked a lot like Hulk Hogan, to be honest with you. I remember I have a picture with my dad with him, and they looked a lot very similar. Had that same kind of, like I said, I was a little bit more, I was a little thicker when I got this tattoo. I'm pretty thin now. I realize when I look at this tattoo how thin I am. But he had that same mustache and same, he kind of had a thin hair, and he did. He looked a lot like Hulk Hogan when he was, you know, his hair would get real he'd get real light in the side. He had almost that same look. He looked a lot like Dr. Johnny Fever. People used to come out and think he was Dr. Johnny Fever from KRP in Cincinnati. But they didn't know that my dad was on Dennis the Menace. Most people didn't know my dad was an actor. It's funny, they thought he was an actor growing, you know, on television, and he never talked about it. But he played on Dennis the Menace growing up, so he was an actor. My grandmother was an actress, and my aunt was an actress, and all that nonsense. My family's all into that Hollywood nonsense, all that wealthy, fame, millionaires. They all got money to do NASCAR and racing and all that other crap. My mom's married to a race car driver. All that. I don't like fame. I hate fame. I'm so glad that it never had to. Oh, I got to be recognized by, you know. If I talk to one person and I can relate with one person, I'm much better than that. And I can talk in crowds. I've done large events, I've done radio and television myself, but yeah, it's just whatever. We all got to, you know, give it a try. No, I said I don't regret. I don't want that. I don't want any of that. I could have done any of that. I could have been very famous and very wealthy. I have all the right connections. So, like I said, when your dad plays on Dennis the Menace and your grandmother's runner-up for Miss America, she's an actress, and my aunt was in, you know, in television and all that type stuff too. But it wasn't for me. I mean, I remember when I took some acting classes and my family all freaked out and got all weirded out. Everybody in the family, it made such an uproar in the family. I figured out that wasn't the best. It just brought up my grandmother was an actress, and she died of, I think she had liver failure. She drank, you know, a really heavy towards her end of her movie career, and I think that's what took her out. So it was a really bad, you know, subject. Everybody got out of the movie industry, and it was just a really bad subject in the family. So yeah, when I was taking some acts, everybody, it all came back up and like peeled off old wounds and stuff. And, you know, actually made my grandpa get all upset at my dad. And I didn't realize all the bullshit I was stirring up, but I did it anyways. I didn't care. So, and I got the lead role, you know, so whatever. But, you know, so we played, I remember the one major, I did a couple, you know, classes, but the one was where the patients take over the asylum, you know, and I was the head doctor, so I got to be a little goofy, kind of like a Jack Nicholson. The whole time I had that, I don't know, just at the time I kind of had that whole Jack Nicholson. Imagine that was in the 80s too. That was when those movies like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and some of the best movies were in their prime. So I kind of was inspired by Jack Nicholson when I played that role. So people were like, dude, you were out of your mind. You're like fell into that role a lot. Like, whatever. It was just an act, man. It's just an act. I get to go home at the end of the day. But when I was there, I definitely I heard it from my family. Like I said, it caused my grandpa and my that's actually I found out a lot more at that time. I didn't even realize that. I knew that my grandmother was an actress, but I never knew that my dad was an actor, and I didn't know that my grandmother or my aunt was an actress too. And I didn't know that. I knew that my grandmother, she was dead, and it was brought up. She was, whatever, a couple times, and that's kind of the way they brought it up to us when we were young, so we wouldn't talk about it. You know, um, I couldn't figure out why my grandpa had such a nice place and all, but it was, and family was wealthy. Why do we live in one of the most expensive places to live in the world, and, but, I don't like any of that. Like I said, I don't get along with my blood at all. I don't hate them or anything like that, but I don't have anything in relation to them. I never have. I've always, they don't like me, obviously, but I don't hate them or anything, but they don't like me. They never have. They didn't treat me very well. They treated my son like garbage because they didn't like me. And, when he was little and he was keychain size and he was, he could fit in that little Dale Earnhardt jacket or whatever, you know, up until then he was great. But then when he wasn't, keychain size anymore, they just pretty much threw him to the side and ignored him. So, uh, yeah, I've done quite a few voice. Obviously, I've had people go, "Do you do radio?" Yes, I do radio. Have you done radio? Yes, I do radio. I do television. I've done commercials and done some voiceovers for Viper Alarm Company, and did my brother's work for them. But that's a better way to go. Yeah, nothing wrong with the voice acting, but I've had people try to get me to do it again, but I won't do it anymore. I just don't want to. It's not my thing. But I've done some of that too. Like I said, my brothers used to have me do all their radio commercials for their television, and they're in NASCAR, so they do. If you look up like Speed Fest, they've done a couple NASCAR events on the West Coast that had never been done before. So there's no NASCARs on the West Coast, so they don't do events on the West Coast. But my brothers are sick like that. They do crazy things. They do what they're kind of like me in a sense. Oh, that can't be done. Oh, really? Oh, you say it can't be done? Oh, watch me do it then. So I just learned that from a young age too. That there's people out there saying it can't be done, and then they come get me to do it. I was that guy. Like nobody else would do it. Like, well, go get Tracy. He'll do it. Just tell him he can't do it, and he'll do it. Just dare him a couple of times, or just call him a pussy or something, and he'll do it. You know, they used to come get me when something we wouldn't do. Something I go do it. I'll shut up. It could be done. It's not going to kill you. I broke so many. I'm telling you, I could go. I still have some pictures because my house burnt down when I was younger. We didn't get all of them, but I could show you picture after picture of me, cast after cast after cast, elbow, arm, leg, wrist, and just constantly breaking bones and stitches. And you ever seen that Jackass? You ever seen that Jackass with Johnny Knoxville? That's what I was doing before that ever became a thing. We used to take and strap, like skateboards to lawn chairs, and then to sleeper sofas, and then beds. And we lived on sometime I lived out in the Santa Clarita Valley, so I lived up on this hill, and we would go down the hill at, I don't know, on anything we could put on wheels. So we just did the stupidest things, jump and put a ramp at the bottom of the hill and jump a sofa, or not a sofa, but a lazy boy. You ever seen anybody jump a lazy boy? We were doing that in the 80s before Johnny Knoxville did any of that stuff. But that was me kind of growing up. Like I said, I was that kid. So we were crazy growing up. We did stupid things. Like I told you, all I did was get myself busted up and As long as I got passing grades, my dad would let me do whatever I wanted to do. Pretty much. I know that sounds crazy because he was really strict, but I couldn't get in trouble. I couldn't get in trouble with the law, but as long as I didn't hurt anybody else, that was his major thing. Is he told me, you can. This is what my dad told me, and I really wish he wouldn't have told me this. He said, you know what, son, you can do whatever you want. He said, don't let anybody ever tell you you can't do anything. You can become the next president of the world if you want, or the United States. You can do whatever you want. The only thing that's holding you back is your mind. Everything is in your head, and you can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. I'm telling you, don't let anybody ever tell you you can't do anything. Tell them to fuck off. You don't tell, he didn't say I couldn't cuss around my dad, but he said that, and he said, you tell him to fuck off, and even though I couldn't say that, and he said, but you can do whatever you want as long as it doesn't hurt anybody else. As long as you're not hurting anybody else, do whatever you want, man. You're only going to be here for so long, son. And obviously you're not like your brothers, and I'm not going to be able to control you. I can tell you already. So the best thing I want to do is just kind of let you go. Work hard, play hard. So just don't hurt anybody. Do whatever you want out there. Have fun. Please quit breaking bones. You cost me so much money. But don't hurt anybody else. And when I heard that, it stuck to me like glue, man. And I was like, okay, all right. So I can do whatever I want as long as I don't hurt anybody. So I got to just be as crazy and as wild as I wanted to be. And as long as it didn't involve anybody else, I was okay. And people just watched me do the craziest things, and they got to be that's what I got known for doing. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, people come get me when somebody wouldn't do something. They're like, well, go get Tracy. He'll do it. He'll go get him. He'll get him. They kept me, hey, they pump me up before I get there. I'll be all pumped up by the time I get there. It'll be a group of guys, 3 or 4 or 5 guys. All right. I remember when I jumped off this 2.5-story building. Nobody would jump off it. I jumped off it. Oh my God. That was just I think that's the worst break I ever had. I mean, I busted myself up pretty bad, but when I jumped off that 2.5-story building, and I thought I was okay because I landed on the one foot, and I was going to try to, I had there in my eagle, I could kind of absorb the shock, but you're not going to absorb 2.5 stories. That just shattered my whole right growth plate. My whole leg was just, oh my God, it was so bad. It was so bad. Oh, it was so bad. It was so bad. It's so bad. It got freaking. And then my brothers told on me. Stupid, my brothers were such wussies. I was going to school. I went to school for 4 days, and they came home from school because one of the teachers had said something to one of my brothers. We were in the, we were in high school, and or excuse me, that was junior high school. He was 1 year ahead of me. I was in junior high school, and one of the teacher's kids said something about, what's going on with your brother, and and asked me to look at it. And I thought I'll be all right. I'm not going to tell my dad. This is the 80s. Well, they made my brother tell my dad. They kind of pinned him and said, like, you're going to have to tell him, that's, so I had to tell my dad, and he was really mad. He was so mad, just like everything, because I had done that already a couple times, and I kind of had to deal with him that if I broke something, I would tell him, because sometimes it's harder for them to fix something, or it actually costs more if you'll wait, more infection or more, trauma. It's not as, or sometimes exactly have to go in and re-break something if it's starting to already try to heal itself up. So I had done that before. And then I was always getting in trouble for ripping my cast off. Before I was supposed to come out of my cast, I'd cut it off, and that would piss my dad off too. So I did a lot of things to upset my dad when it came to that too. I was breaking bones left and right, and ripping cast off, and not going in when I should be going, and doing all kinds of stupid things. But I wasn't hurting anybody else. I did almost get my brother killed one time, but I ended up being the only one that, because I was smart enough that that was another broken leg, another broken leg. So we were sliding down the drainage ditches on sheets of plastic. They're real big, steep. They were putting in track housing on levels on track housing, and they put those big long, drainage ditches at the bottom of them. And my brother, I am, he's a lot smaller than me, and I told him to go in front, and he ended up trading me. And I'm glad he did in front. I probably would broke his back or his neck and killed him, but I ended up only breaking my leg. Looks like we got a bird out there laying some eggs. I hear it. All right, guys. So I might get off here for a little bit. What time is it? 9:30. Okay, good. Guys, I really do appreciate you coming in here with me and asking. Thank you, David, for the Cash App. I appreciate that. We'll hold that, and like I said, I'm gonna money. We had somebody else again immediately when put it into some fun, and the Father wants it. It's exactly where it wants to be. So appreciate all you guys that keep me in your thoughts, and be an update a little later. We'll come back in here. And got block work and stuff to do. So some heavy lifting here, and I'll give you an update in here, and I'll give you an update. So thanks for your time. Appreciate the thumbs up. Leave a comment, and if you don't have abundance, please, it's not a requirement. Actually want to tied to you guys want to tithe food, so that's why tied to you guys want to tithe food, so that's why I'm going to work so hard and get this done. So I'll be excited. See if we get there, and if not, we have a beautiful thing here already. Even what we have online is just amazing. So more than I've ever could imagine, the support of the, just me more than anything, the support of just the ministry and keeping me. And I don't know exactly what I'm doing, so I'm going to probably have to lay this brickwork out a couple times to try to figure out. There's no blueprint. I couldn't find anybody online to do what I'm about to do. So not even one image of it. So I'll take some pictures of it when it's all done, or whatever I'll bring in and see what I'm doing here. So a built-in fireplace to a terrarium garden to keep it warm enough. It's going to be different. So, and I probably need to get some more things to try to get a couple more things sold, because I want to try to get some, I got to get roofing. It was 39 degrees out here, guys, this morning, 39, 38 degrees. I'm going to have to get a roof, and I want to get some of that polycarbonate. So I think it's about $20 a sheet. And I've decided I've moved that stove out, so I'm going to be able to put it all the way across. I think I need about 5 sheets or 10 sheets or something like that. So probably need a couple $100 or something like that. So let me get off here. I'm going to go try to get a couple. I put that swamp cooler up for sale yesterday. It's nice. It's good condition, because it's going to be hot here. You know what I'm saying? So maybe somebody will pick up this air conditioner, and I'll put the roofing. I don't know. It's just supposed to get in the 90s. So maybe somebody sweating it out and say, man, honey, let's go pick up that air conditioner. We have to drive an hour and a half or 2 hours all the way to the chickens can make it through so they are well. Okay. All right, brothers, sisters, I'm going to go. Thanks for your support. We'll see you on the next broadcast, and definitely stay in touch with us and watch the ministry grow. Maybe we will someday have a South American ministry, and I'll be asking you for your address offline to ship you some organic food grown by, members here at Grace and Truth Ministry, and we're going to exclusively ship them to Grace and Truth Ministry and High Desert Faith and Truth Ministry subscribers. So thanks for being a part of it. Hopefully it might take years to come to fruition, but here we are, one more day at a time. So just keep plugging away. So thanks for sticking with us. Love, brothers, sisters. Pastor Revelation, Pastor. Whoa.